AI won't take your job. Someone using AI will. You've probably heard the warning before. AI is coming for your job. Millions of people are worried about it. Workers are watching companies automate tasks. Executives are talking about efficiency. And every week there seems to be another headline about artificial intelligence changing the workplace. But what if we've been asking the wrong question? What if AI isn't actually the biggest threat to your career? What if the real threat is another human being? Someone sitting in another office? Someone with the same job title? Someone with the same 8 hours in a day? Someone who discovered how to use AI to do in 2 hours what you still do in 8. Because AI doesn't have to replace you to make you less valuable. Someone using AI better than you might do that for it. And that is where the psychology gets interesting. Because when people hear that technology could replace their work, they usually think about money first. Their salary, their mortgage, their bills, their lifestyle. But underneath the financial fear is something much deeper: identity. For many people, their job isn't just something they do, it's who they believe they are. They are the experienced employee, the expert.
The person everyone calls when something goes wrong. The person who spent 10, 15, or 20 years becoming good at something. And then suddenly, a machine appears that can perform part of that skill in seconds. That creates a psychological conflict, because accepting the technology means accepting something uncomfortable. Your experience may still matter, but the way you used to demonstrate your value may no longer be enough. And the human brain hates that idea. We naturally defend the things that give us status, security, and identity. So instead of asking, "How can I use this?" we ask, "Why do I need this?" We look for reasons the technology is unreliable. We focus on its mistakes. We point out what it cannot do. And sometimes those criticisms are completely valid. AI makes mistakes. AI lacks human judgment. AI can misunderstand context. AI can produce confident nonsense. But there is a psychological trap hiding inside those truths. You can be right about the weaknesses of AI and still lose to someone who understands how to use it. Think about two employees. Both are intelligent. Both have the same education. Both have similar experience. Both work in the same industry. One employee decides to experiment with AI, not because he believes AI is perfect, because he wants leverage. He uses it to research faster. He uses it to organize information. He uses it to generate ideas. He uses it to automate repetitive work. He uses it to challenge his own thinking. He learns what the technology is good at and what it is terrible at. The other employee refuses to touch it. He says, "I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what I'm doing." And maybe he does. For a while, nothing changes. Then the difference starts becoming visible. The first employee finishes faster. He can handle more projects. He has more time to think. He responds faster. He experiments more. He produces more. And eventually, management notices something. They may not even care that he uses AI. They simply notice that one person is producing more value with the same amount of time. That is the part people misunderstand. Companies don't necessarily need AI to fire you. They simply discover that they need fewer people to produce the same result. And now the competition is no longer human versus machine. It becomes human versus human with better leverage.
That changes the psychological game completely, because your competitor doesn't need to be smarter than you. He doesn't need to be more talented. He doesn't even need to have more experience. He just needs to multiply what he already knows. And this is why AI may create a strange new divide, not between intelligent people and unintelligent people, but between people who adapt and people who protect the past. History has seen this pattern before. When computers entered the workplace, some people saw them as a threat. Others learned to use them. When the internet transformed business, some companies ignored it. Others built entire industries around it. When smartphones changed communication, some people complained about them. Others built businesses that never would have existed without them. Technology repeatedly creates the same psychological choice: resistance or adaptation. But there is something even deeper happening with AI. AI doesn't just automate physical work, it touches something much more personal: thinking, writing, researching, analyzing, creating. These are activities people associate with intelligence. And when a machine performs something we considered a uniquely human ability, it can feel personal. That's why the fear of AI is different. If a machine replaces a factory worker's repetitive movement, it feels like automation. But when a machine writes an article, creates an image, analyzes a report, or helps develop an idea, people start asking a much more uncomfortable question: what exactly makes me valuable? That question can hurt, because if your entire identity is built around being the person who knows how to perform a particular task, what happens when the task becomes easier? The answer is not that you become worthless. The answer is that your value has to move. And that is perhaps the most important psychological lesson of the AI era. Your value cannot remain attached to a single task forever. Tasks become automated. Tools become obsolete. Industries change. Skills that once took years to master can become accessible to millions of people. So the valuable person is no longer simply the person who can perform the task. It's the person who understands the bigger picture. The person who knows what should be done, why it should be done, when it should be done, who it should be done for, and what happens after it is done. That is judgment. That is strategy. That is taste. That is leadership. And those things become even more important when machines become better at execution. Imagine a world where almost everyone has access to powerful AI. Then access itself stops being the advantage. Knowing that AI exists stops being the advantage. Even knowing how to use basic AI stops being the advantage. The advantage becomes knowing what questions to ask, knowing which answers to trust, knowing what problems are worth solving, knowing where the opportunity is before everyone else sees it. That is where the real power begins. Because every major technological shift creates a small group of people who don't simply use the new technology, they reorganize their lives around it. They build businesses around it. They create systems around it. They use it to eliminate unnecessary work. And while everyone else is asking whether AI will destroy the economy, these people are asking a different question. How can I use this to create something that didn't exist before? That mindset is incredibly powerful, but it requires something most people struggle with: the ability to let go of an old identity. You may have to admit that the way you worked 5 years ago isn't the best way anymore. You may have to become a beginner again. You may have to experiment. You may have to look stupid. You may have to use tools you don't fully understand. And psychologically, that is painful, because people would rather protect their identity than risk feeling incompetent.
This is why beginners sometimes adapt faster than experts. The beginner has nothing to protect. The expert has a reputation. The beginner asks questions. The expert assumes he already knows the answer. The beginner experiments. The expert says, "That's not how we do things." And sometimes the future belongs to the beginner. But don't misunderstand the message. This is not a warning to blindly trust AI. It is not a message telling you to replace human thinking with machines. That would be another mistake. The smartest strategy is not to become dependent on AI. It is to become dangerous with it. Learn its strengths, understand its weaknesses, verify its output, keep your judgment, keep your creativity, keep your ability to think independently. Then use the machine as leverage, because leverage is what changes the economics of work. If one person can produce the output of 3 people without sacrificing quality, that person becomes extremely valuable. And if that person also understands human behavior, business, communication, and strategy, the advantage becomes even larger. That is the real opportunity. Not becoming an AI expert, becoming a person whose capabilities are amplified by AI. And there is one final psychological trap you need to understand. Waiting. A lot of people are not against AI. They're simply waiting for the technology to become easier, waiting for their company to provide training, waiting for someone to explain it, waiting until everyone else is using it. But by the time everyone is comfortable, the early advantage may already be gone. Every major shift rewards curiosity before it rewards certainty. You don't need to predict exactly what AI will become. Nobody can. You don't need to know which tool will dominate 5 years from now. You don't need to become a programmer. You simply need to stop assuming that the future will reward the same skills the past rewarded, because it may not. The question is no longer, will AI take my job? The better question is, what happens when someone with my job learns to use AI better than I do? And there's an even more uncomfortable question behind that one. If the person I'm afraid will replace me is simply someone who adapted faster. If that thought makes you uncomfortable, good, because discomfort is often the beginning of adaptation. You have 2 choices. You can spend the next few years defending the value of the way you used to work, or you can spend them increasing the value of what you are capable of becoming. AI may not take your job, but someone using AI may take your opportunity. Not because they are smarter than you, not because they are more talented, not because they worked harder, but because they learned to multiply themselves. And in a world where technology keeps making individuals more powerful, the person who knows how to multiply their ability may become more valuable than the person who simply protects their experience. The future will not belong to humans versus machines. It will belong to humans who understand how to work with machines and humans who refuse to. So don't ask whether AI is coming for you. Ask something far more important. What are you going to become now that AI is here? Because the greatest danger may not be being replaced by a machine. It may be remaining exactly the same while everyone around you evolves. Welcome to the shadow side of progress. Welcome to Shadow Emperors.